In this video, I will take a look at this very interesting 9-ball situation where many players make a surprising mistake and prove that very often speed does not equal spin. We need to get from one ball to the free ball, which is located very close to bottom rail. However, we face a slight angle on the one ball towards top area, but the main problem make these balls which are located in top half of the table, and especially 4 ball, which is placed very close to the 1 ball, because cue ball automatically makes a contact with this ball if we try to go around the table using 3 or 4 rails. If we remove 4 ball, then it is much easier to move the cue ball. However, remaining balls still make some problem, so we can very easily lose this positioning. In this particular case, to get down we need to use top spin and apply a lot of left spin. And now we reach the point where many players make a fairly common but surprising mistake, because they wrongly think that to get to the bottom area of the table, they have to use more speed. As you can see, cue ball hits side rail very close to 4 ball and it has a lot of forward rotation on it. But because we used a lot of power in our stroke, then cue ball hasn't enough time to change this spin for speed. To help you understand this behavior, we need to talk about this situation. We face straight in shot on 9 ball, and if we hit this ball perfectly straight with top spin but less speed, then cue ball after contact with 9 ball rotates in place for a moment, and then going forward. But when we try to execute this shot in same way but we use high speed, then cue ball after hitting 9 ball rotates in place longer than before. But situation changes completely if we try to slightly increase the angle. This time, if we try to apply top spin and use less speed, then cue ball going with natural rotation and hits side rail in this point. But if we use much more speed with same spin, then cue ball going much further, and this happened because forward rotation on it didn't have much time to grab the cloth more. Cue ball stays much longer on tangent line, and this is the reason why it went so differently. Alright, but not only speed is important, but also stroke quality plays a huge role, because if we come back to our main situation, then executing this shot with less power is insufficient, because the cue ball does not have enough speed to get down the table. So in this case, we are actually forced to use more speed, and the key will be to hit the cue ball with correct timing. Timing of our stroke plays a huge role during different types of shots, because it highly affects physics of the cue ball. We need to remember that during shot, our cue accelerates from 0 speed right after the backstroke to reach its high speed right before contact with the cue ball. After this contact, it decelerates and finally stops. With correct timing, our shots may look much smoother, so cue ball has a lot of rotation, which grab the cloth much more. Let's talk about this A-ball scenario where we face a very long 4 ball, and the problem is 9 ball, which forces us to play A-ball into the bottom left corner. And yes, I know, you can say that this is not a problem, because we can apply top left spin and go around the table to land in our intended area. And yes, you are absolutely right, but this option requires to be very accurate, because first of all we can miss object ball due to high speed and side spin applied to the cue ball, and secondly, we can lose position or scratch in bottom right corner. So in this case, your goal should be to slightly chip the pocket and execute smooth and deep draw shot to create position to the 8 ball using only one rail. But very often, for fear of long draw shot, players hit the cue ball very hard with bad quality stroke, what caused the cue ball to follow a completely different path without good position to the 8 ball. So the key in this situation is to hit the cue ball very low with correct timing. Deep backswing and smooth follow through, that is the secret. Alright, so if we know everything, then let's circle back to our main situation. All what we need is to push our cue smoothly forward and apply enough speed that the cue ball is able to go down and land on the right side with pretty good position to the free ball. If we compare wrong and right execution of that shot, then we can see huge difference in behavior of the cue ball, which hits sidereal earlier, but the biggest difference is visible in final position. Quality of pull stroke is extremely important during many shots, so in this video you can find another bunch of useful tips to help you finish your stroke smoothly.